Forget about winning the lottery. What if you could just make more money appear in 30 days or less by tricking your brain just by putting three very specific things in your wallet? I know it sounds too good to be true until you realize how quickly this works. Tony Robbins, the world's most successful personal development teacher, he used this technique in his early 20s when he was broke. And he was taught how to do it by someone who made tens of millions of dollars using it. Tony didn't even believe it was going to work. But now, 40 years later, having made almost $1 billion, he says that doing this with his wallet brought millions of dollars within 12 months of trying it. And Jim Carrey, the famous actor, he used part 2 of this technique when he was a broke actor to launch his career. And he now openly admits that this part of the technique he did every night, and it made him $15 million in 6 months and helped him land his first big acting job in the movie Dumb and Dumber. I was taught this technique by my mentor, Bob Proctor, and it did seem too simple. But I did exactly what he told me to do, and I made my first $1 million within the next year and a half. And in this video, you will not only learn what to put in your wallet, but you're also going to know the proof behind why this has brought millions of dollars for Tony Robbins, Jim Carrey, Bob Proctor, and even for me. And it's only going to take you a few minutes to get yourself ready. I'm Jake with JakeDucey.com. Thanks for being here, and let's dive right into this video. First, let me just tell you a strange story. Long before Tony Robbins was worth nearly $1 billion, before he was the world's most famous self-help guru and coach to presidents and billionaires and athletes, he was a broke 20-something-year-old wondering why success kept eluding him. And one day he's frustrated and stuck, and Tony approaches his mentor, the legendary Jim Rohn, and he starts complaining. And he's like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, but I still am broke. And Jim smiles and looks at him. He's like, Tony, it's because you're reinforcing your story. You're living in financial fear. I'll tell you how to change it. So Jim says to go to the bank, withdraw the amount of money that you want to earn per day. So let's say $1,000, put it in your wallet. And every time you open your wallet, remind yourself, I earn this daily. So Tony starts arguing with him. And he's like, but I can't afford to spend that money. And Jim laughs and he's like, you're not going to spend it. You're just going to train your mind to expect it. This isn't to spend. You decide how much money you want to earn every day, and you keep it in your wallet until it's yours. Tony did it, and he says it changed everything. Now he's worth almost $1 billion and says that the moment he started carrying that money, everything changed. His identity shift, and that is when he says he started making more money than he could possibly spend. And as you're about to see, this is going to work for you too. But first, there's really one big problem that you need to know about. You are subconsciously resonating with lack and financial fears, and it's keeping you from attracting money. So let me just explain it. Let's imagine there's a woman named Susie. She works hard. She has 2 jobs even, she works so hard. She saves, she budgets. No matter what she does, something always comes up. There's an emergency, there's a broken car, an unexpected medical bill, and it's like money's just slipping through her fingertips. And Susie, she thinks she has a money problem. She doesn't. She has a resonance problem. Susie's subconscious has been shaped from years of fear and struggle and limitations. Her dad died of a heart attack when he was young. And so now, when he dies, he leaves Susie and the mom with nothing. They have no savings, nothing. So Susie and her mom struggle for her entire childhood. And now she just believes she's always going to barely scrape by. That belief becomes a set point, like a ceiling, a subconscious thermostat that says, I can survive, but I can't thrive. And that belief is a set point. It's an emotional and psychological setting that governs how much abundance she allows into her life. It's exactly like a subconscious thermostat for wealth. Just like a thermostat in your house is regulating the temperature of your room, Susie's internal thermostat is regulating how much money and success that she feels is safe to experience. So if her thermostat is set for survival mode based on her emotional wiring from her past, then the moment things start to go well, she unconsciously finds a way to return to struggle. Not because she wants to, it's just familiar. Her nervous system, her identity, and her belief system are calibrated to just getting by. And until she consciously resets that thermostat, no amount of effort is going to change the outcome. And there's a term in neuroscience, it's called Hebb's Law. It explains it perfectly. It says that neurons that fire together, they wire together. So this means that the more often two cells in your brain activate, or like when Susie has these money fears and stress, the stronger those connections become, those cells become in your brain. So every time Susie thinks, I can't afford that, or she has financial anxiety, those neural pathways are activated and reinforced over and over. And then eventually these patterns form as well-worn circuits in your brain to expect and create financial scarcity. And this is the financial thermostat, the default setting that your subconscious uses to determine the level of money that is normal and is safe. And just like Susie, hers is so deeply wired for lack that the thermostat just stays at barely surviving level. Right? Does that make sense? That's why it's so important to also reprogram your subconscious. I have a free success hypnosis to reprogram your subconscious. It's jakeshypnosis.com. You can click right there to get it, or it's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. About 1 million people from all over the world have used it because you have all these childhood financial programmings about money that you've inherited that are literally keeping you broke as an adult and you don't realize it. And I get all these epic stories of people from like every country in the world pretty much, and they get a new job out of nowhere, money starts to show up when they just listen to it for a couple minutes a day. And it's jakeshypnosis.com. It's free. You could get the link in the description, or it is pinned as the top comment, or click right here. Just go to jakeshypnosis.com. Now, here's the thing here. Just like Susie, your childhood and teenage emotions become a neurological habit in your adult years, and that's what's keeping you stuck financially unless you know how to fix it. And this is why people win the lottery and then they go broke again. If your internal wiring is tuned to lack, no amount of outside things that occur or effort is going to change it. And that's why this wallet technique is so important, because it's designed to do that for you. Because your subconscious is going to learn through repetition, emotion, and symbolism. So when you use this, every time you open your wallet, you're communicating with the most powerful part of your mind. So let's just break down step by step how you can do it. And if you're with me here, comment down below, I'm ready for abundance. I'm ready for abundance. Step number 1 is to get a cash anchor. So you place the amount of cash in your wallet that represents your dream daily income. Like, for example, if you're John and you're a freelance designer, so you start carrying $500 every day. And even when you're only making $100 a day. And then after 2 weeks, you get these huge high ticket clients that show up. And instead of lowballing your offer, instead you state your true worth, because that cash has now created a new normalized state of more abundance. You get the big client, you never look back. That's how frequency shifts change your finances. Now, don't be afraid to start small with what you feel is a little bit more possible, maybe at 100, and you can increase it as you keep going. Like, for example, if your goal is to earn $500, You could start and you could put $100 or $200 in your wallet. And then as your confidence grows, you can raise it. Go up another 100, another 200. So if you're aiming for $1,000 daily, you could start with 300, 400, and keep increasing it until you really feel the truth. Like, I am a person who attracts and manages this level of income. Now, here's the thing. Why does this work so well? You are priming the mind. When you see that cash every day, just like when Tony did, you're not just looking at paper. You're sending a signal to your subconscious. Like, this is normal now. That daily visual cue creates a new identity. You're also anchoring a new reality. Psychologists call it anchoring bias. So your brain starts using the numbers that it sees regularly as a new reference point. So the cash in your wallet doesn't just sit there, it becomes a new financial normal. You're also creating a new identity in motion. So you're really hopping into a new financial identity through expectation. This is going to fuel new behaviors, new emotions. You are rewiring through repetition. So the more that you're seeing and emotionally connecting with this money in your wallet, those neural pathways fire. And according to Hebb's law, the more they fire, the stronger that they wire. And then your brain starts to believe, like, I actually am this kind of person who handles this kind of money. But here's the thing. Most people get it wrong because they stop right here. They think that carrying cash is enough, and it's not. If your subconscious programming is silently screaming like, this isn't safe, this isn't who I am, you will unconsciously push the money away from you. And that's why the next step is even more important, and most people never do it. So let's fix that next. Now, number 2, it's the magic paper. So let's just make your income goal something that you naturally reinforce every single day without even having to think about it. So grab a small card, like something that fits in your wallet, index card, write down the amount of money that you want to earn every single month, and then phrase it like it's already yours. So you could say something like, I'm grateful that I'm earning $15,000 a month, right? So keep that with you and look at it all day, throughout the day. Let it sink in. Be that little reminder in your wallet of how much money is coming to you right now. So I know it seems simple, so why does it work? Well, first is your reticular activating system, your brain's internal gatekeeper. It starts scanning your environment for anything that matches this new income reality. So opportunities, people, ideas that were once invisible, they suddenly start to come up. And then you've got self-suggestion. Dr. Joseph Murphy talks a lot about this. Present tense affirmations, they sneak past your critical mind, so they land directly in your subconscious, and that's actually where change occurs. And then you're doing neuro-emotional looping. So magic doesn't just happen from like words or desires. It comes from feelings. When you link emotion to your monthly income goal, you're not just thinking about wealth. You are actually becoming it. That is what imprints into your nervous system. Now, here's the thing. Most people just stop here. They write the card, they repeat the affirmation, and then they wonder why nothing's shifting. So if you skip what's coming next, you risk reinforcing the same emotional ceiling that you're trying to break through. And the next steps is where you complete the full shift. And most people never even realize that it's actually missing. Now, before we go on to number 3, this is why it's so important to reprogram the subconscious. So if you haven't yet, my gift to you, my free financial success hypnosis, you can click right here to get it for free, or go to the link in the description and pin to the comments right there down below. This is going to create a new subconscious baseline for how much money you can earn. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is listen to it for like 2 or 3 minutes a day. It's going to do the work for you. And then you start to see the new financial opportunities show up. So make sure you check that out for free. Now, number 3 is the kind of strange power writing your own check. So you think of this like a long range signal to the universe and your own subconscious mind that like you are serious. You're going to write yourself a check for the ideal annual income that you want to make. You're going to make it out in your name. You're going to date it for 1 year from today. You're going to write it in the memo, how the money came to you, and then you're going to sign it like it's already on the way. I know it might seem kind of symbolic or silly, but symbols are actually how the subconscious mind communicates. It's the language of the subconscious. So a check isn't a paper, it's a visual anchor that speaks to your new identity, your new beliefs, and your emotional connection with wealth. And that is conveyed to the subconscious. So when you sign this check, you shift the energetic ownership. And then it's no longer a wish. It's a commitment. It's a contract, actually, with yourself about who you are becoming. So, for example, before anyone knew his name, Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. And he dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and he kept it in his wallet. And then on Thanksgiving 1995, he landed the deal for the movie Dumb and Dumber. Guess how much that paycheck was? $10 million. It's not magic. It's alignment. But here's the thing. Writing the check is only half of what you need because most people are missing. It's one thing to know what to do, but it's an entirely different thing to understand how something works. And when you know the science behind it, when you know the mechanics of your mind, then it's no longer a fantasy and it becomes a reality. And that's what we're going to dive into next, which is the brain-based scientific proof that makes money come to you. First, you have Hebb's law. Just think of your brain like a forest trail. Every thought is just like a footstep. So when you walk the path like I can't afford that, it becomes a permanent clear path. And then putting the cash in your wallet it's like clearing the brush that makes that new trail in the forest. And every time you see that money, you're strengthening that path. You're clearing that path. And then eventually that becomes a new default. That's how Hebb's law works. It's just a term in neuroscience that explains how your brain builds habits and beliefs, that neurons that fire together wire together. And the more often a thought or feeling is repeated, the stronger and more automatic that brain connection becomes until it's second nature, which is more money. So you can comment down below, cells that fire together, wire together. Cells that fire together, wire together. And then there's neuroplasticity. So if you just imagine your brain's like Play-Doh, it's moldable, especially by repetition and emotion. And you literally reshape your financial identity by what you expose yourself to daily. So cash and affirmations, they aren't just like wishful thinking. They're daily brain molds. And if you use them enough, you reshape your inner money world. And that's really the essence of neuroplasticity. It's just the term in neuroscience that refers to your brain's ability to physically rewire itself based on your experiences, thoughts, and emotions. And this wallet technique helps you repeat wealth-oriented brain habits, so you're reshaping the actual structure of your brain to expect, attract, and handle more money. Next is your reticular activating system, or just RAS for short. So if you think of your RAS like your brain's Google algorithm. So if you keep searching in Google financial freedom, it starts auto-suggesting ideas and matches. And that's what your RAS does too. But if you're feeding it like, I'm broke, guess what your RAS brings up? Right? More broke stuff. So this is how the reticular activating system works. It's a part of your brain that acts like a filter. It's highlighting what's relevant based on what you focus on. And when you direct it intentionally, it starts surfacing financial opportunities. It starts to bring more money. It starts to bring new things instead of just like recycling your fears. And then there's emotional resonance. Oh, I won't tell anyone, but have you ever cried during a movie? That's because feelings bypass logic, right? Your subconscious speaks emotion, It responds to vibes, not vocabulary. So when you feel wealthy, touching $500 or reading that you make 20K a month, you're giving your subconscious the emotional proof that it needs to actually lock in a new reality. That emotional charge, that's what makes the impression stick. Your subconscious can't tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what's real. It only knows how to feel. So the stronger the emotion, the sooner it's a reality. And when those emotional signals repeat often enough, that becomes a new blueprint that your subconscious mind automatically follows. And that's really the essence of emotional resonance. It's not just what you say or what you want, it's how you feel that shapes your reality. Now, are you ready to give this a try? Let's do a 30-day challenge. So I want you to follow this technique for 30 days and document how much additional or unexpected money or new financial opportunities come into your life. I'd love for you to come back, share your success story. I'd love to feature it in a future video as well. 30 days, see how your financial life changes when you start to shift the subconscious and subliminal financial programming, and you no longer identify with your current reality because you are suggesting a new financial baseline to yourself all day from your wallet. That's when the magic happens. So thanks for watching today's video. You can click here to watch another. If you enjoy it, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, bell notification, and be sure to get my free financial success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. Give me a comment down below that says, I'm ready. I'm ready to receive wealth. Wishing you a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next one.